Hello. In previous videos, I've gone over some ways to get Mutagel. Since then, I've been hearing about different ways and different results. It seems there may have been an update to Mutagel farming. So I jumped onto my personal server with the rate set to officials and tested this all out for you. All of the dinos I will be testing were all tamed at level 150, so they came out at 225, and then I gave them all 100k XP. I then leveled melee on all of them. This gives us a base to go off of without any other factors affecting the dinos. By doing this, we can determine which dino is actually better at getting Mutagel and determine if a melee player beats the dinos. If you have dinos that have been bred to have even more melee and are imprinted, of course, you will get more. A few other things that can affect Mutagel farming are the buffs from the missions, and of course increased server rates. The missions Starred Often and Starwing Strike give buffs that can increase farming on asteroids. You can easily get these buffs from Gamma, with the higher difficulties just increase the amount of time the buffs last. First up, a base test with and without melee. We will test 100 melee real quick, which is the base melee, and as you notice, we're not getting much Mutagel. Alright, let's move up to the 400 melee and see how that goes. We will also use a decent pickaxe. As you can see, we're getting an okay amount of Mutagel. So now we have determined that melee does affect gathering Mutagel with the pickaxe. But what about the pickaxe? Does it affect the farming? As a test, we will try a primitive pickaxe. As we go around and gather, you will notice even the primitive pickaxe is getting about as much as the better one. Now let's put the math to the test. We will use this impossibly high percentage pickaxe to see if we get more. As we gather, you will notice the rates are about the same as the primitive pickaxe. One thing to clear up real quick, Mutagel from ambergris gives an RNG amount, so from time to time you will get a large amount at once, and other times nothing. This can throw off testing in small samples. To avoid this, I farmed over 200 with each tool and dino to get my results. Outside of the RNG, the amounts were consistent. A few people have been talking about tech punching, so I ran the test with and without melee. Melee does affect the amount you get when tech punching, but only slightly. Tech punching the ambergris gives just slightly less than a pick, but it's much slower, so even if it were to get slightly more, it would be less efficient. A few things to note, the chainsaw doesn't work on farming ambergris. Some people did suggest that maybe we could try it, so I'll give it a shot. Hatchets don't really give you Mutagel either, or not much. I guess they give you a little bit, but not much. Not as much as the pick. And then there's the mining drill. This is not very efficient for farming Mutagel from ambergris. In my first test, the Strider didn't seem to get any Mutagel, but others tell me it does, so we will test it again. To be sure, I connected it to a Deddy with Mutagel. Now, as you can see, it can get Mutagel, but barely. It is definitely less efficient than pickaxes. So, let's move on to the old trusted Anki. This guy's been a top farmer for years. How well will the Anki farm Mutagel? Well, as you can see, it can get a decent amount, but is it the best? A few things to keep in mind. When farming, if a dino gets less than a different dino, but it can farm while being skiffed, and the other dino can't, it may be more efficient due to being able to hit more nodes faster. In Ark, it's all about time to amount gain, not amount per node gain. Next up, we will give the Magma Sword a shot. While this is not on officials, unofficial players may be able to use them, and when servers open, official players will know if they work or not. As you can see, the Magma Sword performs about as good as an Anki. Now that mantises are tameable, let's see how well they perform. I'll give it a decent pickaxe, but recall the test earlier, pickaxe damage doesn't seem to matter. The mantis performs fairly well at getting Mutagel. It gets about as much as a melee player, and more than an Anki and Magma Sword. But is it the best? Rainus25 suggested that their tribe uses melee golems. And yes, there are golems on official Gen 2, they are just rare. So let's give this big guy a shot and see how it goes. And there it is. The melee golem gathers about the same rate as the Anki. So which is the best? Now, there are a lot of factors involved to make this decision. While the mantis collects the most, and raised ones can get a ton of melee, they are hard to grab with the skiff. On the other hand, Most tribes, once transfer is open, will have access to Ankies with insane melee due to years of breeding. The Anki is an easy raise and therefore expendable. On top of that, it can farm while being skiffed, making it very efficient. Magma Swords, on the other hand, have been around for less time, but if your tribe has really pushed the breeding, they are just as good as Ankies and can farm while being skiffed. Then there's the Golem. These poor lugs can't be imprinted, and therefore will fall behind in a tribe that raises dinos. It also may be slightly slower to skiff farm with them. Now, if your tribe has no dinos or skiffs, then using a melee character may be the fastest way for you. On an official Gen 2 map, the Anki wins for efficiency. Now, if you know a trick to grab the Mantis easily with the skiff, then the Mantis would be better than the Anki. Once the server opens, it'll just be a matter of preference really on which dino has the better imprints, and your skiff drivers are better at moving around. Don't forget about the Mutagel under Rockwell's heart. That can be farmed with a mining drill. Every 45 minutes you can pop down there and get around 200. If you have any questions over Mutagel farming, let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, help me out by smashing that like button, and have an awesome day.